want to do is only solely work and focus on the positive. And so that's all that Restoring the Village is doing. Everything on there is positive and there's no negativity. We've lost that communication. And so I love when people actually come on and actually can talk to people and let them know what they're doing and why they should support them, and how they can be supported. So I just think that loving on one another is the best thing that we can do right now. I would love to see more people getting involved in their community. And again, that's, kind of off, but getting more involved in the community is the best thing that we can do. I'm totally not against police officers. Of course, we know there's some good and bad with anything and anybody. I want to really, truly make a difference. I'm running the same district that my husband was murdered in. And that right there shows strength. It shows that we can recover from anything. And it's not to say recover, but we can conquer anything. And you can make a difference even in your brokenness.
Now more than ever, it's important where and who you get your news from. Radio on Fire brings information and entertainment to urban America. Whether it's news, sports, entertainment, or relationships, Radio on Fire has the urban experience covered from all angles. Visit radioonfire.com, download the Radio on Fire app, and follow us on social media at Radio on Fire.
Juggle everything.
Whoa.
Hello, everyone. This is the RTV radio show. Thank you for tuning in. Look at this. I love it. The whole entire crew is here. We're going to be just talking about some trending Baltimore news, including the Poe homes and everything that's going on in Baltimore. And we're going to try our best to keep it where we can provide some solutions as well. Not a solution, but some updates or information for anybody that may need it. I'm asking if everybody can please share this video now and make sure that we have a large audience that's going to be listening in to this segment. I want to thank, I don't even know, we can just say all the hosts here, Tasha and Brother Nance. How are y'all doing this evening? It's a beautiful day.
It is.
It's an awesome day.
Sunny.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes, amazing. I actually love the word amazing. Yes.
Oh, so nice.
So on this amazing day, we're not going to make this feel so bad, but we want to talk about things. We want to utilize our platform to make sure that we bring awareness of the things that are going on in our city.
Yes, absolutely.
You like
It's a
it?
lot going on.
There's a lot.
It's
Yeah.
a lot.
You know?
Before I do that, I want to kind of just do a few little highlights that I want to just talk about. Please, if you have not already RSVP'd, my official campaign launch is going to be this Thursday at Terra Cafe.
See what you're doing, y'all. See what you're trying to sabotage.
So let's put all the good news out first before we have but no, I look forward to seeing everyone there on this Thursday at Terra Cafe, 6 to 9. It'll be an official campaign launch / fundraiser event. I would love to see you all there. Also, one other news that I wanted to put out was that next Wednesday, since this is the 43rd district where the studio is, I always like to have our spotlights about the 43rd. We're going to have the Baltimore City Democratic State Central Committee are having a district night or a mix and mingle. So come on out to Melba's
they going
next
to the
Wednesday.
old head spot. Yeah, they really, they going to get some money. They going to Melbourne. They definitely going to get some money. Straight up.
So Melba's
That's old money.
next Wednesday.
Old money, shorty.
Every first Wednesday, we're going to be highlighting, someone in the, not someone in the
All the
district.
old heads.
Yeah.
That's That's all
Let
old
me
heads,
start over because see, I'm gonna get him. Every first Wednesday, each district is going to host an event in their district, right?
Okay.
And so the 43rd is the first bad up, and we're going to be at Melba's. This is going to be an opportunity where you can meet your representatives, city and state officials, as well as some community leaders, and just mix and mingle.
Nice.
So I thought that was really good.
Mix and mingle.
And we're going to go right into it, but we do want to say, again, if you can share it, and then also the number that is on there, we're going to open the lines later after we kind of get some information out. So around 7 we'll open it up, but we're going to dive right into that trending Baltimore news of the water crisis at Poe Homes. What's your take on it? Because I got a lot.
I mean,
how do you feel about it? Like,
I mean, I'm not surprised because it's all by design, to be quite honest with you. So, like, I'm not surprised, but I am happy that they have a very strong community association or whoever is part of that group over there that's leading them. That feels great, especially me being in a neighborhood leadership program, and that's what we talk about, like connecting with the neighborhood associations, the people that are the leads in the community, asking the people what they need, just to see how everyone is from other organizations too coming in and just supporting and not coming in trying to take over. You know what I mean? So that's the blessing and the bad part of the situation. You know what I mean? So hopefully we can continue that momentum of everybody unifying and working together for one common cause. You see what happens when we work together. You know
oh my
what I mean?
goodness, it's a beautiful thing.
Great positive outlook on it. I think it's a whole entire mess.
It is a hot mess.
I mean, a whole entire mess. To go, what is this, the 9th day without water? And I do understand that like 80% of the residents do have their water restored, but you still have that 20% that do not. And for anyone to go without water for as long as they have is inhumane. I just.
But if it's by design and people are, if they know that they want people to leave, I mean, what's the best way to make people leave by making their conditions so unbearable that you just like, well, I'm gone. You know what I mean?
And I was trying to like look through social media today at different
You was doing your
outlooks
research. You was doing your research. Go ahead, girl.
And
Trying to be a
people
real live
input
radio.
and everything. And I just don't understand how people don't understand that is the purpose. Like, it just seemed like to me they are trying to get them out,
Absolutely.
especially with how they're trying to redevelop that whole community. And with the Poe Homes being there as the last thing that need to come down, I mean, it's not.
Is it
it's
coming down or building around it? Yeah,
it's
exactly.
being rebuilt into what they envision that community to be like.
Now, y'all should see the blueprints they got for Perkins.
Yeah, and I can believe it. Look where Perkins is at.
Yeah, you should see the blueprint for that. Like,
yeah.
Wow.
So I definitely
Trees, green spaces.
when we say design, we're talking about when we read these articles, and I'm going to be factual and not come off of emotion, but we can clearly see what has happened in the past, and other major cities where this has been a trend. Like this is happening. I also wanted to also share, because you'll never just hear me say that, point a finger and say what someone has not done or what they have done. At this moment, it's more of what can we do. So I do want to say I appreciate that, I received a well, it wasn't me personally, but there was an article out where Council President Brandon Scott is going to be having a hearing, and he's kind of like more of the accountability part of
absolutely that's
why,
my guy right there.
Why
that's my guy.
DPW
Brandon don't play no games. Yo, about his issue.
DPW and housing, basically, what Tasha said is that we clearly see that there was no coordination there.
No.
Right.
We didn't work together at all.
Got cash, baby.
And then it's like no one is not. They're addressing the issue, but not addressing the issue. I haven't heard anything from DPW yet, who everyone is pointing the fingers at. like they're to blame, but no one is not taking accountability as to what happened and why it happened.
But the crazier part is that it took so long to get to this point. You know what I mean? Like, people didn't even know this was even happening. You know what I mean? It took for like, what, day 5 or day something like that?
The news to pick it up and everybody start realizing that these people did not have water.
So I do want to say about being as a community and working together. I received that. I know Jamae had tagged me, and shout out to Jamae, because really was pushing. But I think she may have tagged me on maybe Wednesday or Thursday. I can't remember, but maybe Wednesday or Thursday-ish. And it was on the strength of a resident just being fed up, that being overlooked. And it really didn't have to be that way if they would just had, kind of been able to really help their community. This is housing authority. And it's just a mere, like, I'm not going to sit here and say it can happen right away, fixing it. This, that's out of my jurisdiction. I can't sit there and say, if it can or not. But when I went down there, and I've been down there a few times, just because I don't want to take, hearsay. I like to be down there on the ground and see it. And so to actually hear from the community of how no one has, coordinated with them or informed them with their what's plan B, what alternative information that's out there. And even like the mobile showers that I've seen.
Yeah, I heard they was getting like a little bit of, like they was in some flack, like they needed permits or something.
Well, okay, maybe that was it, because I was going to say they were like a block away, and I really didn't. A lot of times when I was talking to the residents, they didn't even know they were in the next block.
Yeah, they said, Mike said it was something online. He was saying like they had to get like some special permits or whatever. Like the city was trying to charge and harass them about having a shower set up.
So that could be possibly it. But at any rate, I think some may have utilized it. But I guess I brought that up just to say that, just coordinating. It could have came from the housing authority to look, a memo to 300 units is nothing. Like, put that out to do that. And it'd been better if we were able to coordinate that better. So that's kind of where, where my frustration was coming, and how the media was just saying like everybody was fully restored, when I clearly was hearing people then that they weren't. Yeah. So some water is a low pressure, some is brown. I mean, I've gotten pictures and videos throughout this whole duration. And of course we know, you gotta let your water run.
Brown water.
Yeah, you gotta let the water run though. So
Well, who wants to go through all of that?
Yeah.
They shouldn't have to go through all of that. They're not dogs, they're humans.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I guess that's with anything. If I had a water problem, it's not that I'm a dog. It's just, or they were thinking that way, is that you do have to take its course. But I'm just saying there's a whole community center. I think just better communication to let people know what you do. I think it just would have been better that way. Now, I'm going to go even further back, because as you talk about, design.
I love going further back. Please, let's go back.
I like to go back.
Go back.
And,
please.
And I'm going off of, again, quoting articles. But there was one article back in November. November is when they have this development, Center West. Okay? Center West I thought was just the luxury apartments, but not the entire redevelopment area itself. And when I looked at this plan, it had an entire shopping center and other luxury apartments. And one phase of it was completed with the luxury apartments that are across the street from Poe Homes. That's phase one. This is an $800 million project. So it just makes you like think. And I'm not saying that they just hit something to make that happen. I'm saying let's go further back. And so we have to talk about that. It's also been in the news about Poe Homes under redevelopment. And that was back in September. I've shared all this on my page. They're also going through a process of they're looking for a new property management. And this was just last month. It's a lot of things going on. Yeah, so I encourage people to go to. The city council hearing. Bring all of this up. We are so much stronger together, as Brother Nance said.
I mean, hey,
but we all have a voice.
Yeah.
And baby, I gotta play the field. But let's say there is a reason. But I think the communication. Well, I'm talking about in a different light. If there's a reason in a different light, you have to communicate, because what I'm reading is very disheartening.
It is. It is. No one should be treated that way. Just like the one lady said, what I seen on, I think it was on some video clip, and she was like, although we are people that live in low income housing, you don't have to treat us that way. Like,
absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
She was like, she felt like they was just treating, like they were saying that people was restored and like a little bit of water pressure, like they should just been sufficient with that. They even showed people getting water out the fire hydrant. You know what I mean? You ain't supposed to be.
Now, I do want to say the water for the not to make excuses, but the water from the fire hydrant was to help flush that toilet.
I mean, I didn't know. I'm just telling you what I saw.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so I mean, the lady just felt like she was like, yo, they don't have to treat us this way.
Absolutely.
But that is the reality of it, that people that live in public housing or low income housing, they do get treated a certain type of way, because people view them as being a different population than everyone else, that they can't afford regular housing like other
some of that's
people,
not even true.
And it's not. And unfortunately, I see it in my field where that's how they're treated. So
I want to read something. So this was from the bizjournals.com, and the article was from September 7th, 2018. I'm just going to read this little paragraph. So it says, planning for a redevelopment of the 298-unit Poe homes could begin later this year as changes to the Poppleton community continue to roll on. The 78-year-old public housing project in West Baltimore this week received a $1.3 million grant from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. The funds will be used to plan the future of the overhaul of the community, a spokeswoman for the Housing Authority of Baltimore
And I
City
wonder who they
said.
talk to. Did they include the
So what is
residents
the
in the
future?
plan? Did they include the residents in the plan?
Exactly, and that's what I'm so confused about, because I saw that they had got grant money last year for the redevelopment of Poe homes. So are they revamping Poe homes for the residents, or are they re-ramping Poe homes?
Later in the article it says, later down the line in the article, please go to there, is again bizjournals.com, and the headline is Poe homes could be heading toward redevelopment privatization. So let me see. All right, so down the line it says, next door, the $800 million Center/West development is underway, set to open by late September to the first residents who move into two modern multi-family buildings. And this again with a total of 262 mixed income units. This development is being built by the I would say La Site Development LLC based in New York.
Yeah.
I encourage you to look at their site and see what their plans are. That's just all I'm going to say. So yeah.
Good segue, Angie. Good segue.
So is this apartment complex that's already up, do they have HUD grant funding?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
That's a private, that's through the La Site. So what is so in my opinion is, and everybody says it, I just would love to actually get that information and convey it to the entire community, city, so we all know, and there are no assumptions. Yeah, I mean,
exactly.
The city knows, and if we miss the way, because sometimes there's a way where it's posted somewhere, but it wasn't like it wasn't pushed out. And I think it was from a couple years, and then they actually did a ribbon cut, and everything has gone on, but we didn't. I had never. It wasn't until I went over there, and I was like, what is that over there? Because I just don't. I'm not frequent on that side of town, but this is some things that we have to look into. It also said Baltimore received a $30 million HUD Choice neighborhood grant in June to redevelop another public housing development in East Baltimore at Perkins Homes.
I'm not surprised with that one either.
So I just like to know what is the future? Like they say, the future of it is it to redevelop that area, or is it to
Baltimore gonna look like Gotham City. Baltimore gonna look like a whole new place in 10 years.
I mean, yeah, because initially, because I used to work downtown, they want people that work downtown at the hospitals and the universities and stuff be able to live
Walk to work there.
Yeah, home. So they have been pushing people out for years to get that done.
And who you think about to start having babies? All those people that's graduating and the young couples that's coming out of college, they're going to start having babies. That's why they're building the schools in the particular areas and
building their own little community,
little villages. Little villages.
I also want to add, it does say, because I'm reading it more just to make sure I don't miss anything. It says that in addition of PO homes to the list of public housing developments in the city, could allow private investment in the development that in turn will fund upgrades and renovations to keep it open as federal public housing funds decline. So I guess as that has declined, that's probably why they're looking for the new
you got to use certain language
management.
in order to get the money. So you got to say you're going to guarantee a certain amount of.
So you're keeping it. I don't mean
you are, but that doesn't mean
it's very.
It's a very vague situation. It's specific, but it's kind of vague too because just from what I'm learning through my studies in class, that they're talking about. No, because I'm at the Johns Hopkins thing and they really teaching us about this stuff. It's just crazy, all this stuff happening.
That's okay.
I'm just,
go ahead.
No,
tell his brother Nan.
No, but for real though, like they were saying, like how I just threw my whole. Through my whole
Johns Hopkins.
No, but what I'm saying is, you made me lose my whole train of thought. Like,
you really did?
Yeah, like it was a real important point too. Like,
you'll get it back. You'll get it back.
Now, I also want to say that when I posted about how water was not really fully over at PO Homes and it was over at the luxury apartments, I want you all to know, because I had people, send me messages just saying how it's not even open. There is a way that they can assess to still know which way the water is flowing. They know that it's flowing on one side. Right. I asked the construction worker, and I just want people to know that I'm not going to just say something to stir the pot.
Research, right?
Like I was there a few times. Yeah. And I talked to the construction worker even on the day that they said it was going to be fully flowing. There was no, even there's homes on the other side, and they were okay during that time. Yeah, so now there were other parts of it, but not fully. And then they did turn it off to test one side. So they have all this equipment to know which way is going to, work, and they know that which is going to be affected. We do know that some water, some units do have water, and I do want to say that. That's not what I said, that it was not at all. But after the 8th day, yes, it began to trickle. Because some are still saying it's not even enough to take a shower. Damn. Or wash dishes. Yeah. And I've seen videos. And it's brown, which we know, let it run.
You can't brush your
teeth. But that's still, they still not getting everything that they would need to actually,
in a house that they supposed to be comfortable in. Mm-hmm.
So what was going on with the hotel thing? I heard it was like some people got hotels, some people didn't. And then don't the city own a hotel?
The city owns plenty of hotels.
So I do. Yeah, I was gonna say now. I asked some. Now one person I interviewed on my live, she specifically said she did not want to leave. They were even, fearful that they're not going to come back to their home. Like there's a lot of things just because
they know the history of they know what goes on in Baltimore. They just when you in the projects, like it spreads around. Like people talk about what happens.
People were talking out there because like I said, I was asking. They were saying, well, it hasn't even started until they start doing that construction over there, and they've been having problems.
Of course.
And so again, I do know that some were offered. I do know that some organizations and community leaders put up money to put them in. Some are okay to go to University of Maryland to take showers or to go into a hotel of their own.
So that's not a Red Cross situation?
So Red Cross, I reached out to them.
So what did they say?
They were there. Oh gosh, I don't know. Was it Friday or Saturday? Mm-hmm. They were there, but they were unaware of it originally, and I'll say that.
So when was this called?
This get interesting more.
I'm going to also say that So just when I say unaware, meaning they probably should have got it, and I don't know if it's a certain amount of days that is considered a crisis. So it could be guidelines. I'm not saying that that's why they.
I was just asking them, was they aware?
So
like,
when did you talk to them?
I went down there on I want to say Saturday.
put our mother voice.
So
on
Saturday, and I actually had an email to say keep me abreast if anything is needed. So I need to know, and I guess I don't know if that's something the council or city council or whatever, but when is it considered a crisis? Like, did it have to be so many days, so many families affected? I do know there was an issue with it being a water issue versus, other things that they're looking at. Some things are city problems.
I wonder if that water would have been cut off on that other side. How long would it take? You know what I mean?
Just 24 hours.
I won't say it. Anything can happen.
You know what? You're right, Angie.
But I don't see them turn on a fire hydrant.
Yeah, and I don't see them not putting them people up in hotels. Period.
Yeah.
And I don't see them.
Now it was open to having some hotel rooms available. That did come out in the article, and I think from the mayor's page as well.
Okay.
And again, you have the battle of some are just not comfortable to go.
And you got to think about the elders that's down there.
And it's a lot of elders.
Yes.
Absolutely.
We walked around because in the center court, that's where all the food was. We were putting all the food, or on the outskirts of it, but we walked around just to check on those who may not been able, maybe they're disabled, they're elders, and some were just like, and again, it's 90 degrees.
Yeah.
Porta pots are near it. It's hot, whatever.
It's like a refugee camp.
Yeah, right.
So the ones that I haven't encountered, for the most part, I'm going to say that they really was making the best out of it. They really was being a community, and that's why I said, you can make the best out of things.
Man, when you live up and grow up in the hood, you always always gonna make the best.
Yeah, you're gonna find a way.
That ain't nothing. You know what I mean? Like, people done been without lights. You know what I mean?
I remember being young and our water going off in the projects, but not as long as this.
I can't say what Matt Pressberry said on my thing.
Okay, shout out to Matt because I saw him. He was on them he was on them comments like yes, I got this. And I appreciate it because sometimes I could kind of be in a bad, not even emotion because
emotional.
I don't go emotional because I put articles, I put the facts. But I'm just saying I'm very careful. I'm very careful what I say, how I say it. But to know that there are people watching even behind me and they're just like, chill, I got it. And that part is good because they know,
Yeah, I mean, once I seen everybody,
real recognize real.
Once I seen everybody engaged, I was like, there's no need for me to come down.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was.
You know what I mean? Once I seen everybody engaged, it was like, yo, there's no need for me to come down.
We can agree to disagree, but if you sit there and say, how do you know that this happened, but you're not, I'm not gonna. We neither one of us know.
I mean, what do you gain from lying? You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't gain nothing from lying about people not having no water. Right. You know what I mean?
People just don't. They're scared to even hear the truth.
They're scared to hear the truth. And like I said, you have some that some that probably didn't want to speak out because it may jeopardize. I may jeopardize some things, but I don't want to. I want to sleep good at night.
Absolutely.
And if it's some things I hear from the community, I can't leave that. Like I stayed down there, and it was Saturday. I stayed down there on Saturday for like 3 hours. I mean, I sat with them, I talked with them, I ate with them. Just
that's when you left.
Know.
What time you left? That's why. You came. That's when you came down to my thing after that.
Well, I went somewhere else, and then I went somewhere else. Meaning, I had a great day in my
awesome
city.
Day. Yeah, you had a great day.
Yeah, you gotta come out. Yeah,
I mean, I don't get it.
I was like, what?
But I enjoy listening. Some didn't want to say,
we need to do more listening to the residents in these communities.
Listening.
Because sometimes we come into these communities and try to fix what we think, and we don't even know what they want or what they need. Like, I remember we were doing our mapping of Perkins Homes, and they were talking about all the green spaces and stuff that they put in there. The people wanted the green spaces, but it was like they don't want another. I was talking to some of the residents down there, and it was like, yo, the green space would be cool, but they already got trees and stuff down there. They was like, yo, they just don't want no more community gardens that won't be tended. It'd be tended for like a year and then it's done.
But this is going back to my question. This redevelopment of pole homes, is it for the residents or for the community? Because if it's for the residents, then yeah, I can see that them coming out to them and asking them, like, what do you want now in your community?
Somebody said, I've been through that. My friend said she's been through that, living in Uplands apartments. Thank God she had a grandmother to give shelter. So sad. Like, yeah, that's true. They did that to the Upland apartments. You know what I mean? I remember that.
You can look at a lot. Like I have.
Yeah,
Everywhere. Yeah.
They're trying to get Cherry Hill, but you know we hard body out there. We're not letting them take us. We not going out like that on Cherry Hill. We're not going out like that. We ain't.
And
we're not budging.
So listen. The sad
Who ain't
part
trying to go
is
Cherry Hill? You're
I lived
crazy.
out there for 5 years.
And my whole family lives out there.
the sad part is that we can say
They on
that
the list, but we're not budging.
But listen, the sad part is we can say we're not budging, but some things have already been in the
Yeah,
mix.
it's already in motion.
Like Park Heights. It's nothing. I don't say nothing no one could do. I'm saying some of this stuff has been signed off 5 and 10 years ago.
It has been, but it's also still room for us to get in.
Have you been there lately?
Yeah,
all
Park
of
Heights
it.
looks like a.
All of it's gone. I don't want to see another green space community. I don't want to see another green space. I want to see markets. I want to see affordable homes for our constituents.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's why I said,
you on the same page.
That's why I said get some affordable housing.
Land trust. Like
right
we
now,
talking about all this other stuff. We need to buy
right
properties.
now,
Like we need to organize people and organize money. That's it. I mean, we organize people and money.
Organize
we good.
People and money.
Yeah, we are. Diamond K.
Hallelujah.
That's the problem in our community. We don't organize people with money. You know?
Yes.
Yeah, we don't.
Like, we all over the place.
That is so important.
Exactly.
The Diamond K got me on.
Exactly.
He got me.
But everybody out here thinking they better than everybody else.
I don't even think it's I don't even think it's a better than situation. What I think it is we.
It's a pissing
No.
It's a
It's a pissing contest, but this is also what I believe. So when you are in, we have the nonprofit complex here. You know what I mean? Whereas though everyone's a nonprofit, everybody's fighting after the same little small grants.
Oh my goodness!
So you're not going to have no unity. You're not going to have no because if you go outside, because honestly, when you start getting them grants, you got to change your program in order to fit the grants. So, but
it's no longer yours in a sense.
that's what I'm saying. So if we pulled out resources and organized the people and the money, we'll be all right. We wouldn't even need grants. You know what I mean? We can buy back blocks at a time and do different things and put corner stores. Like the brother that bought his son a corner store, a restaurant down in on McHenry Street. His father bought him that. So they doing little blocks. You know what I mean? But it got to be more people. It can't just be him having his store and then there's no one else living around there. You know what I mean?
And we have to work together.
And we got to want to live back in the city. Like we can't be running from the city.
Community.
It's all for future residents. There is no stopping the matrix. Yes, community land trust. Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like an uphill battle.
Because with the community land trust, you can pass it down generation to generation. So even if you decide to leave, you still own the land. You understand what I'm saying? And we can still do that. But we have to, if they don't think that way, we have to bring it to them to think that way. We have to get the people and have house meetings and start really doing what we used to do back in the day when they was making moves back in the day before social media. Like we had to sit down and discuss your plans and how to use the lawyer, the doctor, the person with the good credit, the person with the good credit. I'm gonna show y'all, man. I'm working.
We don't even want. We like, wait a minute.
I'm working, shorty.
Yes.
Do I want
I'm working.
Do I not?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm working
trust
on
is
it.
a big factor.
The trust is a big factor, but
huge. Very much so. It's kind of not easy. I almost feel like this is, and when you say by design, I almost feel like that's what they have us. Even with all these 501c3s, this is how they're gonna have that divide. As much as it's not supposed to, but it causes a divide.
But as the conversation comes up and we're aware of it, we have to fix it. We can't keep talking about it. It's like, okay, that's why I said I'm gonna show people how I'm organizing people and money right now. That's what I'm doing. You know what I mean? And I just don't talk about everything I'm doing. You know what I mean? People think it's just juice. Juice is probably like 20% of what I do.
20%
now. Yeah, it's like 20% what I do. That's just what I show.
I'm sorry, I got excited with 2020. That's what I just show
to people. You know what I mean? Like, we don't own land until we get in, like in order to fight this, what's going on, we have to fight it on an economical aspect. Absolutely. We can talk all day, we can march, Absolutely. We can walk up and down the street, we can protest, Absolutely. We can do all that. But if we're not fighting them economically, then it's a lose battle. We're gonna be talking about this 10 years from now. You know what I mean? Seriously. And that's what I believe it takes. Just like how we're.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you gonna read some comments?
We got some comments on the page.
Yeah.
Hold on, I think our producer's gonna read them.
Our producer Diamond K.
Oh.
Extraordinary.
Look, I'm gonna stand there.
DJ Nikki.
Get that voice together, girl.
Nick, you know what?
We got some comments.
The voice
that,
of reason. Okay, come on,
DJ
Nick. The voice of reason.
Nick gonna read.
DJ Nick.
Thank y'all for engagement.
All right, let's see what we have here.
Okay, what do we have here?
So, in Richardson 7781 states, another reason people take advantage of those in public housing is because a lot of people in those areas don't vote.
That's no. That's very true. That's very true coming from a candidate.
It is true.
And I'll tell you why. But go ahead. Is it more to that? Okay.
Oh, he said. And also the future doesn't include the residents.
It doesn't.
So absolutely.
It doesn't.
Absolutely.
It includes the residents that are going to be working in the buildings, cleaning up and sweeping and shit.
But all right, because I do know, like, looking at you and the other candidates that's out here this year, like, campaigning and stuff, I can honestly say this is the first time in a long time that I see candidates out here in the community, like, knocking on doors, talking to residents and stuff like that. In the past, I really haven't seen that. Like, growing up, I didn't know who my delegate was in my area. I didn't know who my councilman or councilwoman was. So it's all about educating them as well. And they're not going to vote if they don't know who to vote for.
Yeah.
So
now as a candidate, there are various strategies that I would say that people do. This is not like a secret, but I'm gonna go off of what the viewer just stated. There are times where we do target, when we door knock, but we're targeting voters, meaning whoever has voted the last election. So that's very true, because if they're not, then they don't. That's like if I call someone, if they don't see that I'm a faithful voter, it kind of goes down. And I'm gonna say,
somebody said, but do they pay rent? Kelly Renee said, but do they pay rent? I mean, that shouldn't even matter. It shouldn't even matter whether they pay rent or not. I don't know.
But it's public housing, so.
Public housing. Let me say something. You brought up a point, but the issue is a lot of times they don't vote and they're not targeted. And when issues happen, they don't recognize that they need to mobilize their vote as a way to correct these problems. And so, they just sit back and complain. But what are you going to do about this? And the thing they can do about it is voting. That's one of the things. But I talk to a lot of residents, and they're not engaged in the political process.
No.
They'll say, they'll say, what are the politicians doing for me? And then they'll say, they ain't doing nothing for me, so then they don't want to. They'll continue in that cycle, and they'll say, they ain't doing nothing for me, so then they think just sitting there and not participating.
But they are doing something to you.
That's a good point.
They're doing something to you, shorty. You ain't nobody doing something for you, but they're doing something to you.
But at what point do we hold them responsible for taking the initiative to learn? They will sit there and say,
you need to have a thing to.
You know what I'm saying? They'll say that quick, and it's like, but what have you done? What have you done?
This was part of the reason I even ran for that position, is because I can't sit here and say that they just don't know, because we know everything else, and we have smartphones. So I tell people all the time, like, you may not be into the political part of it and politics, and maybe even a verbiage throws you off.
So somebody said,
but it needs to be. See, there you go. But it needs to be something where it's. I don't want to say. I'm not going to use that word because I was getting ready to still say it. We don't want to make it like on an elementary level. That's better. But it has to be on a elementary level, because one, even from taking it out of the school system, people are so lost to the point they don't even know. Some don't even know that Jack Young is the mayor. They think he's still the interim. Like what I'm saying, they're not even following. And even though that was a big thing, and now we know he's the mayor, they're not aware and they're not paying attention. So like you said, when do you say, let me sit down? Yes. Because at the end of the day, these things, they affect us.
But that's where those house meetings and people that are aware that
you're going to have a house meeting, and
they
can have one right there.
I can actually facilitate one. I actually can do that.
So you have to get them to come. Right?
Yeah, but you can get them. You can get them to come. You can get them to come if you network with the right resident in that community. You know what I mean? Like, it's all about your delivery and your approach. It's about influence. It's about influence. I mean,
agree.
they're not gonna go with nobody that's in a suit. They're not gonna do that.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're not gonna do that. They're gonna go with somebody that's from the community that they know.
Here's a big problem.
I agree with that.
That there are too many important people that don't care what they do.
Facts. And that's what somebody just said right here.
You know, so the challenge is, how much are you going to invest in getting them to invest in education for themselves when the powers that be don't care?
Yeah, they don't.
And all they're going to do is move them out.
Move right around them.
And they like that is low turn.
And they like the fact that these people are disenfranchised and not engaged, because it's going to be easier to move them out.
You make more money off of people's hardship than you do trying to help people. You know what I mean?
And Nikki, you made a good point, but you know, like holding one another accountable. So I'm even going even further with the housing authority. When are we gonna hold them accountable? You know,
I mean, you gotta hold them. If they're gonna hold them accountable for this, you gotta hold them accountable for all the stuff they've done. You know what I mean?
Not just this, but when are we going to hold them accountable?
That's true.
No, I mean,
that's along the lines of what you guys are saying. You know what's going on right now. It says right now, this is another comment. Okay. Right now the land is cheap, and so they are not making them for those that need public housing. So they're buying up all the land because it's cheap.
But guess who could be buying that land up? The organized people and money of the Black Baltimore.
All right, it looks like we have a caller.
Straight up.
All right, y'all coming in now. Okay, caller, you on the air.
Hello, guys. Good evening.
Hi.
Is this my brother Bruce?
Yes, sir.
That's what it sounds like. I was about to say. Hi, Bruce.
Hey, y'all got me so hyped, man. Lord have mercy. I had to call Brother Nat. Hey, look, I just left Paul home. Hey, listen, y'all. I want to piggyback on what Brother Juan is saying. Now, I'm saying this because I own property in Baltimore. And I have an apartment building down on St. Paul Street in Mount Vernon. So I'm not saying this arrogantly, nor am I saying this like Joe Schmo that's hanging out in the corner. You feel what I'm saying? Y'all, we have got to, like Juan is saying, we have got to pool our monies together to do something organized and financial to create a power base in Baltimore. That's the only way that this gentrification move that I call the Matrix is going to be slowed down. It's not going to be stopped.
It ain't going to be stopped. Definitely not.
Yeah, because you don't stop white supremacy.
Right.
But you can slow it down.
Right.
And you can help our people.
And Bruce, you can also inject yourself in it. You know what I'm saying? Like we can, like I say, like even you living in Baltimore with Baltimore. So if we organize our money, we'll be living with the process and we'll be able to put a dent in the process while they're doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And brother, it can be done.
I know it can. We're going to talk offline.
Yes, sir.
I ain't know you owned all that. So me and you about to get together. Straight up.
Absolutely, brother. We will. I love what you said, man. I got your back 100%, and I plead with people, man. Everybody that's listening to the conversation.
Absolutely.
That's watching y'all show. I plead with our people in Baltimore to get our minds right. Forget going up against the powers that be. Forget about attacking them. Let's get our monies right. We get our money together. That's how we handle it, with a power base.
Exactly. And there's so many people coming from outside of Baltimore purchasing. There's so many people from outside of Baltimore purchasing. Like the R House was built on New Market tax credits, and there's a young brother from New York that owns that. You understand what I'm saying? He ain't used none of his money.
Absolutely.
Right underneath our noses. You understand what I'm saying? Like they're doing this all the time. You know what I mean? So if we have individuals out here that's flipping houses or getting tax liens, why can't we say, yo, let's identify this block and we get that block and we use, you know what I mean? It's so many people doing different things. It's like we just got to buy the land and have a land trust.
Land trust.
Yeah, collective land trust, bro. You know what I mean? We get a
Yeah,
collective land trust.
that will
Everybody
help the
pay their
problem.
dues. Everybody building legacy and generation for their family. We start letting our families come build and live in these communities because I'm not afraid to live in the city or be around my people. You know what I mean? So if we building a block and I got 5 families on the block that we all working class people building, we're going to change the direction of that block just before our presence. You know what I mean? Like that's how the blocks were back in the day. Like even around my grandmother way, like on Fairview Avenue, like half of the block was homeowners and you can tell they had flowers, cut grass. The other half of the block you can tell with the people that was not so good. You understand what I'm saying? But it was but it inspired everyone. You dig what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bruce, for
It's a
calling
money game.
in.
I appreciate you, Bruce. Hey, we
you
gonna
got-
talk
you got
offline,
brother-
Bruce.
you
We
got
gonna
brother
talk
names
offline, yo.
excited.
Like for real. I'm just coming to see you, bro.
Thank you so much for
bro.
calling in.
Appreciate you,
got
brother.
my word. I'm
Lord,
giving you
got
my
him all
word.
excited.
Yo, I'm gonna tell you. I'm about to show you how I do this.
Let me
Watch.
say 2 things because it made me remember. So we were talking about pulling together and pulling our finances together. I do want to say that this Friday from 6 to 8 at the Arch Social Club, Bill Gooden, he will be, he and his organization will be talking about coming together, putting our money together about some, property has been taken away and so forth. Another thing that's going on is this evening, which I was supposed to be there, but this evening, the NAACP, this is their June policy forum where they talk, the title was Our City is Not for Sale. So these are topics that are going on. We have to make sure that we get something. We can go there after here. We can go to one on Friday.
And you know what?
And they may do. I don't know if it's a full house or not.
I love the fact that you're aware of all of those things. You know what I mean? But it's just crazy that a lot of folks don't know.
Well, I won't say that because a lot of his meetings are especially
private.
No.
Or you gotta be a member?
No. Especially Bill, you're going to let me finish. Especially Bill Gooden. They have a nice big crowd. They also do the Black Men, Unifying Black Men, something like that. But they have, a lot of groups that come out as well. Again, it has to be, and I said about the trust, we have to come together. Even with Restoring the Village, I try to do like different organizations come together. We just have to make sure that we stay on one accord. We stay committed, not just afterwards and falling off, but we got to stay committed.
You know what? You know what? How that can happen is we have to just make sure.
Me off
no, listen.
One more time.
It's an important point.
I won't be elected.
It's an important point though.
But I don't want him to forget.
But you just made me forget
he's older.
Again. Oh my God! Oh, what the?
What we gonna do is we gonna give you a pen and paper, so you write your thought down. So you.
Oh, I got it. So, in order for that to work, everyone's self-interest has to be met.
Okay.
What you think about that? Meaning that, okay, so if we're doing this land trust, right, and say...
This is his personal view, y'all.
No, I'm just saying. we get this land trust, right? And I say, okay, I want to be a part of this land trust. I'm going to put my $1,000 up to be a part of this land trust. But within the agreement, we're going to say anything that we buy, I'm going to put a juice bar there. My self-interest is being met, so I'm going to ride and do whatever for the whole collective group of the land trust because I know at the end something's going to be there for me. You know what I'm saying? So it's about everyone still has to benefit. It's not about telling nobody shut your stuff down and let's just do this one thing. No, it's saying let's incorporate everybody's thing, what they're doing, but let's take a couple of dollars that you are making or things that you're benefiting from and let's reinvest here. You may say I want to do a transitional home for girls as well as having homes for young mothers to live in the community that we're building with homeowners and all that. But your self-interest is met, so you're going to be even more engaged in the process. You know what I mean? It's not about saying King Kong, I did it, it's all me. No, this is our situation, but it has to be, your self-interest has to be met. Even in relationships, your self-interest
even
has
on
to
the
be
show.
met. Yeah, my self-interest is being met on the show. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna lie. Shit, just keeping it real. I love Angie, but you know what I mean?
That brought me back because I watched this show called Shameless. And it's a it's a girl on there. It's based in Chicago, but it's a family, and it's a girl on there that took money. I don't know where she initially got money from, either from her house refinancing or something. She took that and she flipped it, and she bought a restaurant. Then she flipped that and bought a laundromat, and then it was what you was talking about. She took $100,000 from the laundromat and placed it into this big development that they was building in Chicago. So she kept on like investing because
And if we organize
she
our
didn't come from a
assets,
family like that. So she was like, and she was taking care of all her brothers and sisters. So she wanted to make sure that they had money.
Right.
So it was like intriguing to see that, like, her
and it can
do
be
that.
done. It can be done.
Always.
It can be done. Like, you know what I mean? It's not that hard.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's not that hard.
I just wanted to add because I didn't. He cut me off. So the
See how she
NAACP
cut
June
me.
Policy Forum is today from 6 to 9. You still have time to get down there.
Still have time.
Again, it was saying our city is not
Old
for
people.
sale. I want to kind of just read a little part of it because I think it's important about the next thing I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
So in the details it says it's no secret that, again, I'm quoting off of the page. I just have to say that all the time. Whatever I say is going to be from an actual, factual, not my emotion.
Coming from God in the universe.
It says it's no secret that big donors call the shots in Baltimore City. A new law creating the Baltimore Fair Elections Fund has the potential to limit the influence of wealthy corporate donors, giving the average resident a bigger say in the direction of our city. And the reason I want to say that is because just on Monday at the hearing, Councilman Chris Burnett, I love him dearly, man. He's good.
Yes, he is.
So he actually presented that resolution there for, let me see, and he's actually going to be talking today. So it says join Councilman Chris Burnett and campaign finance experts for this month's forum, and that is actually going to be right after the membership meeting. So we should be getting it if we leave and go. And it's actually going to be at the Arena Players. And I think that even if you don't know about the Baltimore Fair Elections Fund that he's having as his resolution, and if you missed it on Monday, you can always look at it on the Charm TV. And then also just try to follow up on that because this could actually be something big. Because right now, exactly what we just kind of went through with former Mayor Pugh, with corporations, with corporations and stuff. You want to make sure that it's not a fight. Because even when we talk about 501c3, it's the same thing with politics. It's all about how much money you can raise.
Absolutely.
The more money. It doesn't even mean that your heart is genuine. It's just the more money, the more visibility,
the more influence,
the more everything, and that makes a big deal about who.
That's why I said you better watch out for that dark horse in that mayor's race, shorty. I'm tell you. He gonna organize money and people, shorty.
I think it's a lot of it.
Yeah,
so
it's a lot of dark horses in that situation.
So please, we have to, as much as we may not have an interest in this, we have to pay attention. I don't care if you have to have a representative from your organization or someone from your home. Get someone that can fill you in about what's
That's why I appreciate that conversation we had Saturday night. Like, I'm not gonna get into details of it, but just the fact that we able to talk about
those things. All night.
No, I'm just saying, but being the fact that we able to talk about those things even when we socializing, because it's important. But it wasn't like, how people like you are with your coworkers, like, yo, I don't want to talk about the job, you know what I mean? But it was like
I told him I didn't want to talk about it.
No, I told her when she came in the door, I said, you're not you're not Angie Winder, you're just Angie, you know what I mean, when you come through the door. So she can let her head down a little bit, you know what I mean? But we was talking about that, and it was important because I was just like, damn, we sitting there talking about politics, even I hate that, but we was talking about it, and it made a lot of sense because we was talking about.
But we wouldn't have known if we didn't sit
exactly.
and talk. It was a lot of enlightenment, and that's why I said it's so important. Even though some people, I'm not saying that that's the case, but let's just say you can't go to, and I'll use po homes since we was talking about it. You can't go to po homes and just say, well, they don't know, they're not educated,
right,
or just assume anything or they're poor, they're this, they're that. Because they had a lot of insight and knew. They just probably may not even know where to start to get there.
I would love to see who is the community association person around it, because
that was on there too.
Now
so
this would be a time where, as though what I'm talking about as far as organizing people and money. So people that have influence or have different knowledge, this is where we need to huddle around that woman or lady or brother or whoever it is and help build their capacity so they can fight the fight. You understand what I'm saying? Like, we can't say like, well, they don't have this, they don't know this, they don't need that. But if we know it's a person that's running the community association, or, you know what I mean, we need to connect with that person, because that person is the heartbeat of that community, or supposed to be, if it's not an old lady that they just appointed. Like, yo, this old lady been there for 30 years. She's the You know what I mean? And they do that a lot too. You know what I mean? Like
I just
nobody's
would like
interested.
to see more engagement, and that's why we, in the beginning, I was talking about how we're trying to do our district night of a mix and mingle, and just pick some places and things
Chat
that
and chew,
chat and chew, but also be there with your representative.
Right.
You can talk to them. I mean, not saying, oh, I hope you don't come in like, hey, my bill, this, that.
No.
But at least build a relationship
Right.
and a rapport with them. But also know that you see them.
That was my boy Nick.
You see them available.
That was Nick Richardson 7781. That was my boy.
Yep.
He just hit me on my live like, that was me, yo. Like,
That was about 20 minutes ago. Oh my goodness, this is like really.
We need Diamond K.
We need a 2 hour.
Diamond K.
We need a 2. We need a 2 hour for this one. So we have about 5 minutes left, and I just kind of want to just make sure that we kind of can go back to what we were talking about, like the Poe homes. 'Cause I guess my only take on this that I want to leave people with is, you talk about the momentum. It's a great feeling. We need to mobilize. We need to connect and collaborate. What I want to say is, even let's just say the water is on, squeaky clean. Stay on the ground. Keep your ear to the ground
and support
know
the
what
people
they're
that's
doing.
there in that community. Like, really support the people that's there. Like, after this is over, it's still work to be done. You know what I mean? Like, so.
Hopefully this incident opened up their eyes.
Well, I hope that this incident opened the people that can help strengthen that community infrastructure wise.
Right.
Our community leaders such as myself, like, after
And
having
the
this conversation,
infrastructure is old.
I'm not really talking about the infrastructure as far as physical things. I'm talking about infrastructure as far as organizing. Again, I'm going to go back to my original point. The people and the
After I was
money.
making my point, he cut me off.
I'm sorry, but I'm just saying, like, you know what I mean? I thought it was poignant. I thought it was an important part to say, because it segued into, like, what should be next. You know what I mean? Because after
That's
this
what I
is,
wanna leave with.
like, what's next is we need to hover around and figure out who the leadership is in that community, and let's support building that up. You know what I mean?
I'ma
With
take it
resources,
further.
you know what I mean?
I'm going to take it further
Please
and
do.
say, get involved in your community.
Exactly.
Poe homes, fine. Everything you're doing, whoever's involved, don't let it just be because of the cameras, the lights, camera, and the action. But I will just push for everyone to get involved in their community or another community if you don't live in the city, because there's a lot of that too.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
but please
Half
make
of you
sure
advocates don't even live in the city.
Please make sure that you get involved. I'm going to try my best to post some links that I didn't get to yet, but post some links to, for you to know how to contact. I don't care if it's the health department, because they haven't been out there. So there are things we can do. We can write. I don't say write, but we can do the email. Some of the emails are up now. We can email representatives or health department or DPW. We need to, the housing authority. We need to swamp them. Let them know that we're standing with them. And anything else that may come. Perkins home, Poe's home, our crime, anything. Let your voices be heard.
I mean,
way over there.
I mean, you see how we spent all this time talking about this one thing. We ain't even get into the crime. Nothing.
I know. I think I did it last time too.
Say that's how important it was. You
It
know what I
was.
mean? Because
That's why I said let me get whatever out in the beginning.
Yeah, because it allowed the conversation to organically talk about different things that are important within that whole thing.
Well, everyone,
Hey,
it's so hard to say goodbye. I do want to remind you, I'll say my last. I'm not going to be the person that's going to end this. I'll probably leave it to Tasha. But before I do, and I want to just say thank y'all for always viewing the show and for always supporting. If you would like to be a sponsor on the show, please reach out to us.
We need sponsors.
You can be on there, your business, your organization, whenever, to sponsor the show, to keep it going. As you see, we utilize this platform to say the things that the news the mainstream media is not using. So I want to thank Radio on Fire for always allowing us to utilize our platform to get the word out. And again, this is something that it doesn't have to be censored. We're talking, We're for the people, and we're standing with the people. I want you to know that I will be a candidate that will stand with the people. And on Thursday, I hope to see you all at my official campaign launch.
And you went with Winder, baby.
At Terra Cafe from 6 to 9. I also want you to know that it's also going to be, we're going to be probably watching afterwards if you want to. There's going to be a presidential Democratic debate. It's going to be Wednesday and Thursday. This is a time for you to actually listen to it, because this is a presidential election that we're coming up. So we need to make sure we do that. And again, I hope to see everybody on Thursday, Terra Cafe from 6 to 9 for my official campaign launch for my candidacy for city council.
Yay.
And I'm going to bring that over here and let y'all close it out.
Oh, man. We're going to let Tasha close it out. You know?
Thank y'all for tuning in, and just remember, it's power in numbers. So get out there, advocate, use your voices, and just be involved, be aware.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, there you go.
You know.
See y'all next Tuesday, same time, same place.
Angie, so